Well, Happy New Year to the peace-loving people of the world. It's truly outrageous that the United States government and this vile representative, the Secretary of State, a warmonger, Mike Pompeo, gets to handpick and designate who in the world is a terrorist, who is not a terrorist. This is completely arbitrary. This is completely political. This is completely ideological. Just like the YouTube series produced by Oliver Stone and Danny Glover, this is part of the war on Cuba. To put them on a terrorist list is ridiculous, with so much terrorism that is inflicted on the Palestinian people, against the Yemeni people, against the people of Venezuela. Of course, it's the U.S. sanctions and the U.S. blockade. These are the chief culprits of terrorism throughout the world.
Right. So basically, what is the basis of trying to call anyone in Havana a terrorist? I mean, why not make some references to acts of terrorism, supported by the Cuban government? I mean, can they? I mean, don't they need to get the public to rally behind redesignating the country as that?
Yeah, with only 21 days left in the Trump, Pompeo, Pence administration, they're trying to throw a monkey wrench in the designs of another wing of the U.S. ruling class who would like approachment with Cuba, or they see dollar signs through investment in Cuba. So they have very different plans, just like the Obama administration did. But I think it's important to remember that the goal, whether it's led by the Republicans or the Democrats, is the recolonization of Cuba. It's just the strategy or the tactics that have changed. So certainly these latest threats must be seen in the continuum of 61 years of an economic war, a diplomatic war, a political war, a military war. It continues to be outrageous that the United States has this base of occupation, this base of infamy, Guantanamo Bay, in Cuba. Critical. And these are the true weapons of terrorism that we have to call out. All the weapons that the U.S. uses, bipartisan weapons, as I said, to try to recolonize Cuba. But the Cuban leadership with Miguel Diaz-Canel and Bruno Rodriguez and the rest of the Cuban leadership is stronger and more committed to sovereignty than ever.
And Dan, before we let you go, why is there, I mean, obviously there are some voices in Washington want to see an improvement of ties with Havana, but still, why are there still so many people in Washington hell-bent on, keeping this animosity and keep beefing with Cuba after, like you mentioned, 61 years? Why not opt for peace with your neighbor?
That's the very nature of imperialism, whether it's going after tiny or Panama, or a gigantic piece of the international chessboard like Venezuela or Brazil or China or Russia. This is the very nature of imperialism. So we should really expect nothing different. This doesn't come as a great surprise. Of course, there's the right-wing reactionary Cuban-American, anti-Cuban community is how they should be referred to in Miami, which, Pompeo looks like he has electoral ambitions for 2024. We saw his visit to Palestine to continue to endorse genocide against the Palestinian people. And now we see these harsh measures against Cuba. So Pompeo is trying to pander to this super right-wing reactionary. And at a time when people are saying Happy New Year throughout the world, we continue to see the onslaught and the U.S. Violations of human rights against the world, what really goes against all of the principles that the people of the U.S. stand for. So we have to differentiate between the U.S. population and the U.S. government, which is not our government, does not represent our interests.
All right, good stuff, bud. Happy holidays until we see you again. Take care. Danny Shaw there from New York,
Likewise.
professor of Latin American Studies.